Hot Rod Mess contains language and subjects that are not suitable for all listeners. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned.
Welcome back to Hot Rod Mess. This is our episode 2 where we're going to talk about breaking free. Catches, this is episode 2, take 2. Somebody forgot to hit record.
I mean, mistakes were made. Who to blame? This guy.
But since she's fucking awesome, it doesn't matter. She can get away with it. And she's hot. So when you're hot and awesome,
You can make mistakes.
you can make mistakes.
I'm so sorry. It's like when I get pulled over. I'm so sorry.
sorry.
I didn't know.
realize it. I didn't realize
Didn't
it.
know.
My bad. Even though,
Who are we, by the way?
oh, I'm Angie.
And I'm Candace. We should probably tell the people
We
that.
should tell the people that. Sorry. We're a hot rod mess.
We are dumb.
But we're a fun mess, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to lead us into the episode about breaking free. Is really all about how I got where I am. Mm-hmm. But there's a double side. There's like a part 2 of where I am because at some point in my life, 2020 bomb drop, which is coming up.
Yes.
A couple episodes ahead.
We'll have a special guest.
Yes. So when we get to that point, that'll kind of like tie in all the bullshit of really who I am. So what breaking free is just, I don't know. It's just such an awesome thing because I have, by the way, I just want you all to know, these are not penises.
Although they look very phallic in nature.
Look like penises.
They are.
When my husband pulled them out, I said, that's a penis.
Yeah.
And he went, no, it's a toe hook. And I said, penis.
Yeah. I came down in the studio this morning and I was looking at him like, okay, that looks like a penis. And then I was informed, in fact, what it was. I'm like, no, it's still a penis.
Yeah. Men apparently go to different sex shops than us. Penis sex shop. Penis. Just saying, penis.
So funny.
So anyways, when I was little, I know you have you have a different type of background than me and all that fun stuff. So when I was little, I was that like chaotic riffraff of the neighborhood. But the problem is I didn't know it. Mm. I didn't know I was a problem until I got older. I had my own kids and all that. And I was like, whoa, I don't want my kids hanging out with people like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know because it was normal.
Yes.
It was normal behavior. Running around, yelling and screaming and telling fucking that throwing hands and fist fighting. It was normal.
Because that's how it was at home.
That's how it was at home. And this leads me back to episode 1 when I said, like, it's not the kid's fault usually how they are the way they are.
Yes.
Because they're probably learning it.
Yep.
I learned yelling and screaming and arguing and fighting from my household.
Yep.
Now, I had parents that were married. Mm-hmm. I had a house that we lived in our whole life. My parents never moved. Trust me, we tried. They would never move. There was 4 of us kids. We were all biological. My mother didn't have multiple kids or whatever. My husband, oh my God, my mother's husband, my father, was her first marriage. Mm-hmm. There was no, I didn't come from a broken home. I didn't have the standard bullshit. But people around that may have, like, teachers and stuff, they knew.
They could see. You had what looked like a normal family for kids, a house, both parents, like,
and they knew, like, people that maybe were in like the psychological world or whatever, they knew. They knew that you were probably fucked with and whatever. But what was really it for me was, like, I guess one of my moments was when I walked up to, I don't even know, I think I was like 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And I walked up to my friend's house, my friend Lindsay's house. And I mean, she was my ride or die best friend. Like, when she moved in, it was amazing. Like, our neighborhood was a team. I lived here at the end of the T.
Yep.
It was like two cul-de-sacs on each side, and she was here on the corner.
Uh-huh.
And I literally could see her bedroom from my living room.
That's so cool.
So the light was on. I was like, oh, she's up.
Yep.
You know. So I knew, like, where, like, there you go. Let's go over to Lindsay's.
My friend's up. Time to go.
Time to party. So, and we did everything together.
Yep.
We would go Christmas caroling together because our mom did that and all that and everything, whatever.
Yep.
So then I show up at her house.
Mm-hmm.
A few days before that, I was yelling and screaming, fighting with my brothers like normal. So, I mean, me and my brothers we fought. We fought like, I'm going to fucking knock you out fight. I'm going to throw something at you. I mean, I threw knives through the door.
Jesus.
Like, my brother was in the bathroom one day, and I remember I wanted to go in the bathroom. It was my fucking time. Like, 6 o'clock to 6:30, that was it. After that, fuck out, it's my time.
Yep.
Well, I would go get steak knives, and we had those ghetto doors where they have a hollow on the inside.
Uh-huh.
And I would literally just shove a knife through it.
Oh my
while he was there.
God!
I don't know if he was on the other side. Like, I was crazy back then. I literally
You were crazy back then?
Yeah.
You were just more crazy back then.
I'm calm now, guys. Really, like, I really am calm. I mean, back then, I wouldn't even hesitate. If somebody was, like, fucking with my brother or whatever, and we were at parties, I would just, bam, 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 and then everybody else would start chiming in, and that's just how it went.
Yep.
But my brother would take, like, car batteries, and he would throw them at my other brother.
That's
like,
insane.
Think about how heavy a car battery is.
I can barely pick one up.
Yeah, I mean, I can now. Like, I just pick them up like nothing now, but I'm used to it. So
yeah.
That's, like, how we grew up.
Yep.
My sister, so there's 4 of us. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. Mm-hmm. My sister was always quiet. Mm-hmm. Total opposite. Mm-hmm. She was, like, the mother hen. Mm-hmm.
Where is she in the lineup?
She's the oldest. I'm the baby. Yeah, she's the oldest. So as the baby, everybody else looks after you, mm-hmm. but you're literally a shithead because by the time your parents actually get to you, it's like, yep, let's let it go. But on the opposite side, like, my parents had a different way of, let it go. Yep. Which we'll get to in 2020 Bomb Drop.
That we will.
So
you went to Lindsay's house.
Went to Lindsay's house, and I knocked on the door. Mm-hmm. I traditionally always do.
As one does.
And her mom opens the door. Her name was Sherry. I'll never forget it. Mm-hmm. And she goes, Lindsay can't hang out with you. I was like, oh, like today? Like, okay.
She's busy? All right. Busy? Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm like 7 or 8. Anywhere between 8, we'll say 8 and 10. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. She's like, no, ever. Lindsay's not allowed to hang out with you anymore. Period. Really? I don't want my daughter hanging out with a person like you. Ugh. Those words stuck with me my entire life. Yeah? My entire life. Like, whole life. Yeah. And I don't know why it stuck with me because, like, now I'm like, I'm gonna fuck you.
Because you were a child, and she should have had that conversation with your mother, not you.
Yes.
Would you imagine saying that to a child?
I would
never say that to a child. I would talk to their parent, but I would never say that shit to a child.
I come to my fucking house with vapes in his pocket and everything, and I just looked over at him and I said, hey, buddy, come on. And their dad was like, get in a fucking car, you're leaving it. And I said, stop, he doesn't have to leave the party. You just gotta take the vapes away from him. He can't have the vapes here. Yeah. And I said, sweetie, do better. Yeah. I'm never going to shit on you. Like, and not that I'm saying that it's okay to, like, whatever, but that you all get into some shit that you just don't know, and maybe you're learning it from somebody, or you're living it, or whatever your experience is. So anyway, so I go, at that point, I'm like, wow, okay, I'm now, like, I'm an angry kid now. Now I'm pissed off. Yeah. I start hating Lindsay. Like, I think she's just a snobby douchebag and everything. Kicker is I started hanging out with her older sister later on in life, Jessica, which is kind of funny because she was a fucking burnout stoner, everything. We partied, we drank, we did everything. We rode in cars with boys.
But Lindsay can't associate with you.
Lindsay can't associate with me. Yeah. And then later on, I find out, and here's the real fucking kicker, that mom was having swinger fucking parties at her house. And motorcycle people coming over, and not to say anything wrong with motorcycle people, I love them.
My husband's a motorcycle people.
I know. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to paint the picture here. So, like, tattoos and all this, and all this rough and all that, and big kegger parties, and making beer in her basement and smoking like pots, and she had a reptile business, and she had so much shit going on.
Is this the lady with the snake in the tub
Yes!
that scared you? Oh, we have to tell that story.
Petrified of fucking snake worm. Can't imagine worm.
Oh
Petrified.
my God. This woman is an enigma and a contradiction.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And the fucked up thing is, she showed up at my shop with one of our really good customers later on in life.
Yep.
And I come out the counter and I'm like, she's like, hey, do you remember me? I am Sherry. And I'm like, what the fuck? like Lindsay and Jessica's mom? Sherry? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Bitch, you was judging me? You was judging me. And your dumbass looks like you've been ridden hard 15 times and put away wet 10.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
And you're judging me.
Yeah.
After all that bullshit that I saw at your house. And then there was one time we went over, so her parents later got divorced, right? And everything went downhill and all that fun stuff. And
serves her right for being mean to you.
Serves her right. Fuck you, bitch. Karma's a bitch, by the way. It always comes back and bites you in the ass.
Karma is a real fucking thing.
So we go to her house later. Now I'm like 14, 15. I'm partying with Jess. She's seeing this dude, Chris, blah, 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 blah. Cape Cod, the small world. And I'm like, Jess, I don't think I'm allowed to be here. I think your mom's going to lose it and she sees me here. Because I don't know why. My mom just had like this fucking hate for me. I don't know why. Like, all I did was say fuck.
You're probably prettier than her.
But like literally when I was a kid, all I was doing was riding around my little trike, and I was like, "Fucking asshole, I'll fucking kill you." Like I was just talking. I was a little shit talker.
You're still a shit talker. So it wasn't believed that as a child you were also a shit talker.
Shithead.
Yeah.
And I'm there, and she goes, "Hey, my mom is on her way home," and I'm like, "Oh fuck." But then we all were stoned out of our mind.
Oh no.
So when she walked in, she then started smoking weed with my buddy out back.
Oh my God.
Now, they're divorced, like we're at mom's house, all that. Dad's, no, don't do that at your dad's house.
Yeah.
And he was always cool to me. He was always nice with me.
Yeah.
Everything, great guy.
Yep.
But I was like, is this fucking happening? Does this bitch really just talk shit and you are doing all this? And then she tried to bang one of our friends. And I'm like, whoa.
That's crazy.
So cold.
Oh my God.
So
this woman.
at that point I was like, okay, fuck people. Like then you start realizing in life, like, okay, all right, so you're fake.
Yeah.
You're dumb.
Yep.
And you just start building this wall.
Yeah.
This brick wall I started building. And then I just knew, like, no one's gonna fuck with me. And then I had kids in school that would make fun of me because I was hairy. I was Angie the ape. Then I shaved my arms. Did.
Oh no.
And I had big eyes. Little did I know, as later in life, my eyes would be like my yes.
I'm jealous of the size of your eyeballs. Like they're beautiful.
Like, people see my eyes now, and whoa.
Yeah.
I want your palette. Let me use your palette.
You have so much room for makeup that it's unfair.
It is sometimes frustrating because it's like when you try to do your wings, and like my daughter will be like, bring it down, you look like a clown. And I'm like, but there's so much to cover.
There's so much real estate.
There's a lot going on up there.
That's crazy that people give you a hard time. But I mean, kids will make fun of literally
anything. Literally anything. So I was dating, then, 14 years old, I should say that. Around 11, 12 is when I first had sex.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, right?
Breaks my heart.
Like, it's like so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start hanging out with older boys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had access to all of it. Yeah. And I had access to it because I had an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
And my older brother would come in with all of his thuggy life homies, like whatever you want to call them. They thought they were homies, but they really weren't.
Cape Cod thugs.
They were Cape Cod thugs. I can't talk today. They're Cape Cod thugs.
Yep.
But they all had those, the big swishy pants where it's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. My brother one time bought a pair. By the way, my brother, neither one of them have ever been giant men. They never. Mm-hmm. They have like the same structure as me. Mm-hmm. Like, never. And my brother was wearing a size 40 swishy pants. The Fila's swishy pants.
Yep.
So when he walked, first of all, he should have had a party and invited his pants up because this crotch was like down to his. It's like, you could fit 15 people inside there.
That was. Why was that ever a look? Like,
why was it a look? It was like the Vanilla Ice stage. Like, why was that a thing? Vanilla Ice looked good.
Yes. Hammering.
Yes. They looked good doing it.
Yeah.
You guys look dumb.
A white boy from Cape Cod does not like doing it.
It looked dumb. Like, I mean, I guess it paid off for my sister-in-law when we would sneak out at night and go sit on her hill and everything in her yard, and it was cold as shit because she could fit her and 15 other people in the car.
Oh my god.
Worked out great. But like that was the thing. So I had my brother who was older. He's 4 years or 5 years older than me. Mm-hmm. I had my other brother. He's 15 months older than me. My sister, she wasn't really. Actually, believe it or not, it's kind of sad. But for a long time, people thought she was like adopted. Like, you have a sister?
Really?
What? You have a sister? Mm-hmm. I would tell people, yeah, I got a sister. Mm-hmm. Like from another marriage? Nope. See, we're blood. Huh. And then we're standing next to each other in the bank one day. And I was with my friend, who's, by the way, has known me for 10 years at this point.
Yep.
And she looks over at me. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? It's my sister. And she's like, hey, how the kids? You know, your niece. And she was like, who's that? And she looked at me, I'm like, oh, it's my sister. She goes, your real sister. And I was like, my real sister.
Real sister. It's blood.
We're blood. She was like, polar opposite.
Yeah, you guys are very different.
Yeah, very different. And there's a reason for that, by the way. Mm-hmm. So we would always just do dumb shit like that, and always get out. We'd be out and smoking and drinking and doing this and partying, and I had access. Like I said, I had the access to it. Mm-hmm. So it was normal for me in my head, to think having sex, smoking cigarettes. I mean, my first cigarette I ever smoked, I was 12.
That's crazy. I think I got you beat on that one. I smoked at 11. I got you beat on that
probably
one.
Did me beat on that. They definitely have me beat on that.
That's the only thing.
So now we're just in. It's like you're in the fast lane. You're just
It's like when you rip that first Band-Aid off, it's just like the floodgates open and you're like, fuck it.
So, and I'm sorry, I like sex. I really, really enjoy it.
I mean, same.
I love it.
Yeah.
What I didn't know then is what sex really was.
Yep.
I didn't know the difference between passion and sex, love and sex.
Yep.
Passion and love is not sex.
No.
Sex is sex.
Yep.
You can do it with anybody. You can just put your pants back on and walk away and it's done.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Passion, trust, and love with sex, total different story.
It's completely different having sex. Yeah, okay, one night stands are fine. It's great. It's a fun time. It's a really good time. But there's nothing better than my husband. Right. Because it's not just about sex. The sex is fucking great.
Right.
But the love and the passion that is behind it is so different than when you're 13 having sex with 15-year-old boys that you should not be having sex with, Angie.
Oh, mine were like 18.
Oh my god.
That's even worse.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm no fucking proof. I'm not a proof, but I went to Catholic school and I didn't lose my virginity until I was 17. So, like, anything before that, it's like, oh my god, it's still, and I'm not I have devils on my pants. This bitch is not a Catholic anymore, but that shit, it still is in my head.
It's funny because I was a daughter of Mary, and I served the mass and everything, and I went to CCD and all that fun stuff, and I was brought up Catholic. We went to church every Sunday. Yeah. I believe in, like, I have my own beliefs and all that. I don't force anybody, so don't get that idea. But and I literally now I just live by the simple rules of life, which for me are the 10 Commandments. It's just a basic fucking rule of life, man.
It works.
And they work.
Yeah.
But can you imagine like your kids going out and doing the shit you did?
No.
Like, no way. First of all, your kids wouldn't because they're good kids. But not that you were a bad kid, but you know what I mean.
But you know, I had to say though there was that little moment
Ella was a little wild
where my daughter decided I'm gonna run away. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then we had our aha, welcome to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
And I laid into her. And that was the first time when that happened. It was about a year ago. She was 14, by the way. 14-year-olds. I mean, you have a girl. Yep. Girls, it's like riding the bipolar fucking express train.
Every day I'm like, are we friends today, or are you not talking to me?
Yeah, and it's hard for dads, which at some point I want to talk about dads, and I'm going to get you guys to give me some of your dads and daughters funny stories.
Those are fun.
But it's hard for them because I don't understand. I just figured out your mom's 5 fucking personalities.
Yeah.
Now I got another one.
Yeah.
Fuck, and those personalities are way wilder
because they haven't figured out all their personalities yet.
No.
At least we have ours under control mostly.
Yeah, at least when they walk in, they're like, "Oh, all right, she's wearing heels, stilettos, pumps. Yeah, we're going in that club right now." It's a total different story. But that later. Mm-hmm. So now, I'm Band-Aids off. We're going in. I'm fucking up in school. When I was in 6th grade, I remember me and 4 other people got caught with beer in sixth grade. We're in elementary school, and they've got beer in their locker, which was partly we were going to drink it later. And there's weed in the locker, and there's this, and they, it wasn't in my locker, thank God.
Good.
But they got suspended. But it's also part of the like birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
That's a true saying. And now I'm like, oh, well, now I just got to get better at hiding my shit because they left their shit open. Like, this is how it works. So I just got better at it.
Yep.
Then I met my kryptonite.
Oh, no.
There are only 2 men in this entire universe that have ever showed me love. And only one of them has shown me real, true, passionate, ride or die love. And that is my husband. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
No.
That's that man.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kryptonite, though, I bet if he wasn't who he was, we would have conquered the world together. But drugs, alcohol, partying, and he told drugs. That's what he did. Yeah, and it sucked because he went from being an amazing. He was 18 and just graduated, whatever. Or I think maybe he dropped out. I don't really know. But I know he was 18 when I met him, and I was 14. 13 and a half, 14.
I'm gonna throw up.
And he was just, first of all, he was banging. He had beautiful. I got a thing for shoulders. Like, ooh, you've got shoulders to grab hold. And he just beautifully contoured man. Gorgeous guy. And for him, I was more of a possession.
Okay.
Which I learned later in life. Like you see on like movies, drug movies and everything about like that one woman that's untouchable.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I was that woman.
Yep.
Don't touch her. And he called me woman. He always called me woman. And when he wasn't in jail, we were seeing each other. Okay. He could have been seeing other women and whatever. I mean, he probably was.
Likelihood.
It wouldn't put it past him. No. But we were there. We were connected. And then it was when I would not talk to him, it was because he was in jail. Yeah. That's when you knew. Yeah. When we weren't talking or we weren't together. Yeah. Or I wasn't his, and you didn't, like, there was no me and him and me seeing someone else. Oh, fuck no. No. That was fear. Yeah. You were with him. You feared it. You literally feared him. And now, and it wasn't until my son where I really kind of was like, I don't have to fear you anymore. Like, nope. You're not it. But when he called, you figured it out. Yeah, you figured out how to got to him. You figured out how to hang out. It didn't matter. So we're at parties, we're at this and that, and then one night, my biggest like breakout. No, I shouldn't say my biggest because I've got like it's like a 3-stage. You have
like first breaking, and then it like you build to where you get your real.
Right. I'm right. I'm a badass now. I can get drugs. I can get this. I can get you that. It doesn't matter. Like, but. Now, when we were in school, we had this teacher, and this is kind of important, so pay attention. Focus in. We had a teacher that used to do current events. The fucking god-awful, old school, folded over Cape Cod time. Yeah. And every morning, when you'd get into his classroom, that man was actually such an amazing teacher. Yep. But such a dick. Yeah. Oh, he's still a dick. And I see him now and I'm like, you're such a dick. But
the best teachers.
But He actually has a beautiful family. He has beautiful children. He has actually an amazing, big, huge family. His kids actually go to my kid's school, and I see his wife is I just love her.
That's fantastic.
It's kind of funny though, because when I walked into the school with Jacob one day when I finally pulled him out of mainstream public school and I put him in Catholic school. He walked in one day and he goes, looking me up and down, and I'm like, oh fuck, here it goes.
I'm in trouble.
I'm getting it. And he goes, and I said, yeah, what's up, Mr.
He's still your teacher. Oh, if I saw any of my teachers, don't miss you or Mrs. whatever. It doesn't matter how adult we are.
So he looked at me and goes, you have a child that goes here? I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm a good, respectable citizen. I'm a great kid. I'm fucking amazing.
I'm a responsible adult.
And I have a badass kid to go with it.
Right.
So, and since then, we've had great conversations and all that, and laugh or whatever.
That's great.
But there was another teacher. So there's Mr. my history teacher or whatever, social studies, whatever you want to call it. And then there was the behavior teacher. And yes, I was in the behavioral class. It was a thing. And I had a short little bald Jewish behavioral teacher. That teacher and him. So I'm sitting that Mr. He was badass. You'd go out, you'd walk out and be like, fuck this, I'm leaving. He would meet you places. And he'd be like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm leaving, I'm going to get a coffee. Medium regular, hot. Bro, I wasn't getting, I'm not coming. Oh, no. You're coming back with a medium regular, and then we're going to finish class. The fuck? Or we can handle this a different way. And if you're not back, I know how much time. And then if you weren't back.
Oh, no.
If you weren't back. Sorry for the dogs. If they're
It's good and just good. It is what it is.
If you weren't back, he would Houdini it and be right there, standing with his hand, always with his hands in his pocket. The man always wore shorts too, and a polo shirt, and he'd have his hands in his pocket, and he'd meet you there. So what are you doing? I said you had to be back in 15 minutes. Come on, guys.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? Or he'd just sit down in the middle of your conversation when you were in a pizza shop, and he'd be like, "Hey, so you didn't show up today? What are we talking about? What was so important that you need to come here instead of school?"
That's fantastic.
Amazing guy.
That's amazing.
So you actually built so much respect for him.
Yeah.
That you when he did say, "Hey, we're not doing this." Yeah. You didn't want to leave.
That's good.
You wanted to go because you didn't want to disappoint him and upset him because he loved you. Yeah. Genuinely. And in my world growing up, again, you're gonna find out about that love meant a lot. Yeah. Because I didn't really have it. I had it, but it was fake love. So with that, we're gonna take a commercial break, and when we get back, I'll tell you a little more.
Do you want to be entered to win a free Hot Rod Mess keychain? Well, here's how you do it. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and for the next 10 weeks, I will choose a random winner to win a Hot Rod Mess keychain. So make sure you're leaving those reviews, and also follow us on all social media because we're everywhere. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. We're back. All right, Angie, let's hear some more about your craziness.
All right, so we left off with my teachers and all that. So I'm going to play back in on my teachers. So every day we would have to. I would know when my kryptonite. I'm going to call him B because I'm not going to mention any names. I don't have spiritual. Every time I wasn't with B, I would know because I'd open the newspaper.
Oh no.
Monday morning or whatever class. And you go straight to the court report. Boop, there he is. Haven't heard from him a couple days. That's why I got arrested.
All right, got my answer.
So, I'm going to see him in about a month. He'll give me a call.
Yeah.
And then that meant like I was free. Now I'm free. Now I can go date people. I can go see people. I can kind of have fun, but I knew that I couldn't really get involved because
you couldn't have planned anything long term. But you could do like those random hookups and whatever.
Because I knew that I was going to be pulled back. Now, by the way, while he was in jail, he knew everything, and then his boys would come up to me and be like, "Woman, what are you doing?"
Oh no.
He knows what you're doing. He don't want you fucking with that dude. Get away from it. You can't hang out with him. Like I remember this one dude out. He was like, I got a phone call and I was at his house and they were like, "Yo," and I'm like, "What's up?" "Out now."
Oh my god.
Arch enemy. Get the fuck out.
Jesus.
If you know what's good for you.
Yeah.
I gotta go. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
You did. You just bye.
Yep.
And it was like the forbidden fruit. So now I'm in school one day, and this is really funny. Not really though, it's kind of sad, but funny. I'm in school one day, and first I get ready, get to walk to the bus stop, whatever, in the morning. And my bus driver, I get to the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Bus comes in, I get to it. Everybody gets on the bus. I get ready to get on the bus. She shuts the fucking door.
Okay.
What the fuck? Now, if anybody knows me, I'm really loud and really obnoxious and I'm really like, blah, 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 but I'm not very reactive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very...
You're very even keel. You're like the same temperament all the way across.
Yeah. So when and I've always kind of been that way. So when she shut the door, I was like, I don't really understand what the fuck's happening right now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what else are you gonna do? But shut the door. Like,
can I get in? It's fucking cold out here.
I need to go to school.
Right. I'm not even walking.
No.
So she opens it back up and she says, "You're not allowed on my bus."
Lord.
Fuck am I not allowed on the bus for?
You're the bus driver.
And I looked at her, I'm like, what the fuck am I not allowed on the bus for? Because, I mean, I'm also very, I'll be like, what the fuck is your problem? I'm very matter of fact. There's no sugar coats here. No. There's no fucking sugar.
No.
And she goes, "Do you know what your boyfriend did last night?" I'm thinking, I do know what he did last night.
Oh, no.
Shit. I know who he was doing last night.
Oh,
and I was like, oh. And every morning, like, or every night when he would go home, I would get a text. It's not a text. Oh my God. Pager message.
Old. Old.
Fuck you, okay? I had the clear small one.
Oh,
it was so pretty and blue.
Oh my God.
I know you guys are shocked it was blue. So I would always get a message from him, like 143 or something, which, by the way, in text code, that means I love you. Mm-hmm. You never want 666. So,
I mean,
maybe. So, I didn't get that the night before, but I didn't two and two together.
Maybe he forgot, maybe he fell asleep, whatever. Something. Didn't think anything bad.
I didn't know right away. I should have clicked. She goes, "He stole my husband's pickup truck and he couldn't make it to work because of him and he crashed it." Oh, he's in jail.
That's why he didn't.
Or in the hospital. We were pretty fucked up when he left.
Oh, no.
So I was like, but I didn't steal it, so can I get on the bus?
I was at home.
Stone cold. I remember looking at her going, but I didn't steal it. Can I get on the bus? And if anybody knows that, I hate the cold. Like, I hate the cold. It's lower than 70 degrees, which is amazing that I live in fucking New England. Seriously. I'm like, heated jacket, heated pants, socks. Mm-hmm. What you got? I have heater in my office. Like, it's bad. So I'm out, and I'm like, it's fucking cold. Yeah. Like, can I get on the fucking bus? Mm-hmm. You can get on the bus. But that's it.
Fuck?
The fuck? Could you imagine a bus driver doing that nowadays?
Hell
They would be like, "You're fired, you're on social media, you've been tampered with, you're blacklisted, thrown in handcuffs," would have been all over the media. Everybody would have been like, not me though. It would have been great for me. I would have been like, she didn't because kids nowadays don't realize that they're the problem. Right. So I got on the bus, I shut the fuck up, then I get to Mr. class. Yeah. And my friend Jess is next to me, and she goes, "Dude, have you talked to him?" Apparently it's a problem. What do you mean? I don't know, he crashed last night. He's probably in jail, whatever. So we're like sitting there, like, next to each other. And I open the current events, and what's on the front page? Him.
Oh, no.
That's crash number one. And I was like, all right. So he goes back to jail. Now I'm back out hanging out with my friends.
Yep.
Fast forward, a few months later, we're in April. My friends, it's really heartbreaking, actually. And this is where he's a dick. My friends that night, this is one of my breakthroughs. My sister-in-law's cousin started hanging out with like our friends. We were all hanging out together. And she was actually friends with them first, and I thought about it. So they had an old school car. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Skylark. I'd have to look it up. But it was beautiful. It had these crispy lines. It was white. I believe the interior was blue.
Sounds like your kind of car.
So beautiful, right? So they call me one night and they say, "Hey, do you wanna go out with us? We're gonna go smoke weed, hang out, just chill, drive around, listen to some music."
Go out night.
Which is not uncommon. We used to do that all the time.
All the time.
People would pick you up, got the car, you drove off, you'd hotbox it, and you'd
drive around smoking blunts. That's what me and my friends always did.
all the time.
Yes.
All the time. Pass it around. That's how it went. Pass it around.
Now I would never drive stoned as an adult, but like,
No.
oh my god.
How we even did it? I
swear to God.
And it would be like, do, 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 do.
Yep.
And we would just be la la la. Like, how? I don't get it.
Well, this is what can happen.
This is what can happen. So they call me and like, "Hey, do you want to go out with him?" I'm like, yeah. And I don't know why, but I never listened to my mother. Like, I never did. I was the kid that was, my mother said, take a left, I would take a right just to fucking spite her. It would just be the way that it was. And probably because I was a teenage girl and I was an asshole, and that's just how it was. Mm-hmm. And I was very argumentative. I still am actually very argumentative. That's why I wanted to be a lawyer. Here I am.
Whenever you say I was blah blah blah, I'm like, no, you still are.
That's the whole. Casey can't. I mean, my husband will definitely say, "Oh, the bitch is argumentative." Except I did win my battle last night. So there's that.
That's good.
Thank God for the cameras in the house. So anyways, I don't know. She was like, "I really don't want you going out tonight. Like, why don't you stay in? I'm watching old movies, and I loved watching old movies. Like Emergency was one of them, and it was, I don't know, it was just weird. I loved old movies. And so I went outside. I get outside, and I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm not gonna go. You know what? I'm just gonna go inside and chill with my mom. And they're like, all right, cool. 2 seconds later, they go and they drop off. They went and they dropped off my sister-in-law's cousin. And 10 minutes after that, they were dead.
Jesus.
How they died is probably horrific. Their car, they were racing. So they're racing down 151. And they came up over the hill. So 151 is very like down and up, down and up. Great. It's straight.
It's very straight. It's, what is it, 7 miles? I think it's 7 miles. It is almost entirely straight the whole way, but it goes up and down. It's very hilly.
You're not passing anybody really.
No, it's a 1-lane road on either side.
And you fly down it because it's straight, and it's like it's considered like
the speed limit's 50.
Right. So you're doing 60. And they were driving, and there was a Volvo, I don't know, I think it was a wagon at the time. I'd have to look it up. But coming this way, couple and the blind dog, let's keep that in mind. Traveling, they went around the other person that they were racing. Apparently they knew, but nobody has ever known who it was or whatever. It never came out because they
really
never came out.
Really?
And I actually remembered as I was reliving this, because this is take 2. I remembered that the person they were racing, they never found. He never even stopped.
That's
we still to this day, there's rumors of who it was, but they'll never come forward.
No,
because in the court of law,
there's no statute on this kind of stuff.
They'd be held responsible.
Absolutely,
for murder of literally death of 4 people.
That's crazy.
So when they crossed over, they hit this other car head on, and they were driving so fast that this car that they were in ripped in half. And when I tell you ripped in half, it's in the paper. And there is half of the car, the back end of the car with the seat still attached, way over there, like way down, probably like a half a mile or so. The front completely mangled. You couldn't even make out the front of the car down that way.
Jesus.
When they found our friend's arm, the bowl he was smoking that I had smoked on before was clutched in his hand.
It's so sad.
So you got to think about that. Like, I could have been in that car.
You absolutely should have been in that car.
I should have been in that car.
And, you know, you like going fast. Like, you would have been like, we're racing. This is great.
Right.
Like, imagine that shit.
Right.
Imagine you were dead right now. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
Crazy. So I opened the paper. Now, I don't know any of this. I didn't watch the news. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't watch
It's not like people you were, you know, in constant contact with.
Correct. So I opened the newspaper and it is on the front fucking page. My heart sunk. I'd never had this feeling before. I didn't process emotion. I still don't fucking process emotion. I don't weep. I try. I'm like,
Can I get a tear out?
so if I'm crying, you got a fucking problem.
Something's happening.
So I'm, oh my God. And Jessica's sitting next to me and she's she's, what the fuck? Like, this whole thing. And Miss goes, well, that's what you get when you're a fuck up, when you're a screw up. He didn't say fuck up. And I remember getting into a fight with him that day. I got into a fight with him in the classroom and said, they're good people, blah, blah, blah. You don't fucking know them. And I was swearing at him because I always swore at Mr. I always told him he was a dick. So fast forward, I get out. I'm like, whoa, I like slow my roll a little bit. Yeah. That was a reality. Like, whoa.
It's a big breakthrough right there.
Big break. Like when you have something like that happen. And then later I had friends that right on your road, wrapped their car.
I mean, I get hit in front of my house on my road.
Did.
People drive so fast on my road.
Yeah.
And my road is very windy. So if you're not paying attention,
you're done.
You're wrapping your car on a tree. I mean, I drive my road every day and sometimes I'm like, whoop!
Yeah,
like,
whoop, whoop.
Like,
So like, and now I lost them. That was the biggest. I'll never forget that crash. I'll never forget that moment. And then the couple months later was the next one. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna slow my roll a little bit, back it down, calm down a little bit. So then I'm gonna walk. So I'm at this party one night and I'm trying to mount my kryptonite's out of jail. He's out of jail or everything, and I'm supposed to meet him that night.
How old are you at this point?
About 16 ish, but 15, 16. I would say I wasn't driving until I was 15.
Okay.
Almost 16. So I'm with my friend Megan and whatever, and we're sitting there, and we get in this car, which I thought was my friends that I was meeting. But I was high, out drinking. Maybe I was drugged. More than that, I don't know, because I don't remember. Only thing I remember was being in the back seat of the car and looking at like the back silhouette of this person's head. But they never looked back at me. I've never seen their face. Nothing. I know it was a wagon of some sort, but it was boxy. So I'm assuming it was a Volvo because I've seen Volvo, like they were boxy wagons. So the thing, like, this was my really, like, my aha, calm the fuck down. Like, you're fast lane, you need to get in the breakdown lane, bitch. We go to this party. I was waiting for B. I had left my phone, jacket, and I think my shoes, something else was left behind. There's 3 items left behind. Yep. Same with Megan. My brothers were there. Well, one of my brothers was there. My other brother wasn't there. He said, I didn't know what to do. I just went, for him, he just went home and told my parents and brought my stuff home. But he didn't know where I was. Oh, no. Gone. I just disappeared. Jesus. Imagine we were at a beach and all that fun stuff. So I could have been anywhere. We're surrounded by woods. Yeah. Could have been in a fucking ditch. I wasn't, though. I was in a fucking creepy ass house. Yep. So I woke up the next morning and all I remember was this smoky haze. Like someone was ripping butts everywhere. But apparently it wasn't. Like, I must have been like cigars or something because that's what it really smelled like. So, and it is so quiet. There's not a fucking pin drop in that house you could hear. I look over at Megan and I go, hey, and whispering. She goes, what? get the fuck up right now. We need to leave. My gut instinct was like, get the fuck
We gotta
out of
go.
here. We gotta go. This is not a right scenario. I don't even know where we are. Like, I've never been here before. This isn't like a previous guy I banged or whatever's house.
Yeah.
Never been here.
Jesus.
And I've been to some really fucked up places with B because that's what she did.
Mm-hmm.
Never been here before. So she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, shh, just get up.
Get up.
Get the fuck out.
Let's go.
Megan, something's wrong. We're not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We get up. The house is down this like off beaten path, I think it's a road or driveway, long driveway, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's not another house around.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out and my like all discombobulated, don't know where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And on Cape Cod, you go left or you go right. There's really that's it. You're there.
You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. And so we start walking, and for a while we start walking, and we're going the wrong direction. I'm like, oh fuck! I'm like, we gotta turn around and go the other way. Now for Megan, it was shitty because like her parents were going through a divorce, and her mom had custody of her, and they lived up here, but her dad lived around, and it was really not good for her to be in this situation. And it was really like for me. I mean, not that it wasn't. It was shitty for me to be in that situation, but there was no real consequence of like anything. So we go to the Marston's Mills Airport because I knew the guys there, and I call my house. My mother picks up, and she goes, Angela, yeah, hey Ma, what's up? Oh my God, where are you? Where have you been? I'm so happy to hear your voice, but I'm so mad at you right now. But I'm so happy to hear your voice. Do you know that there are 3 different towns out looking for you 2 right now? Is Megan with you? Megan is here and she's with me. Why?
Yeah.
3 towns are out looking for you right now.
God.
Everything came home last night, but you, your cell phone, your coat, and I think my pack of cigarettes, but they took them. Fuckers.
Assholes.
Damn it. And I was like, what? Like, okay, well, can someone go pick me up?
Yeah.
Like,
great. You were looking for me. You found me.
You found me. Now come get me. So my bitch ass doesn't have to keep walking.
Right? Like, come on.
Right. So my dad picks us up. She sends my father to come pick us up. My mom wasn't really a big driver anyway. She doesn't go to the bridge. She doesn't go to Hyannis. It's like that. It's fucking weird.
Okay.
Whatever. And we get in the car and my dad looks at me and I forgot this too. I asked him for a cigarette. I'm like, hey, can I get a butt? Yeah, here. He gives me a cigarette. He smoked Merits. Ugh. He gives me a cigarette. He goes, you have now until the time we get to the house to tell me the truth, or you're leaving with the officers.
Oy.
And I went, oh, okay. Because I'm like, Megan, this is what we're going to tell him. No, there was no It was, yup, this is what happened.
Yep.
I was fucked up.
And I don't remember.
And I don't know where I was or how I got there or I got nothing.
Could you find this house now? Do you think you know where it is?
Maybe?
Yeah. Because, like, I think you got kidnapped. I said it in part 1 of...
Was that you?
Yeah. But I'm like, really though, like, I think you were kidnapped. Like, it's something fucking weird. That you guys didn't get raped or some shit is, like, really impressive.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's the other thing. So when we were walking, I'm like, Megan, do you feel like you were fucked last night? Do you feel like you were banged? Like, do you feel weird or anything? Do you feel bad? She goes, no. I'm like,
check all the bits, make sure everything's where it's supposed to be.
You know?
Oh my God.
So that point, I was like, okay, like,
yeah.
So I really started reeling it in. By the time I was 16, I was really, I'm going to say the word, calm. And I would just go smoke weed, and sit in the woods and meet up with my buddies or whatever. But then I got my license, so then I would just go and I go and meet B at his place, you know, come back, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's where I really met Jake's dad, biological father, at when I was about 14. And then we dated in between.
He was like, if you weren't with B, he was your other.
He was there.
He was the other
I mean,
one.
there were other guys in between, but he was the one.
Naturally.
So now my next step of like, fuck this, I'm gonna do it on my own was I was 17 and I was told that I couldn't have kids. I actually ended up with HPV, and they scraped my cervix so much that they said you could probably get pregnant, but the likelihood of you carrying because you're such a thin wall now won't happen. Lo and behold, I have 3 kids, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
It worked.
I was meant to be a mama.
Yes.
It's
100%. Absolutely.
my little 3 guardian angels. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I still stay on birth control. I still had all that stuff because you can't always trust that.
No.
But it was heartbreaking, but I didn't want kids, so it was whatever.
Yeah.
Well, then I find out I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh my God. And then for a while, when he got out of jail and everything, and he found out I was pregnant, he was like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, well, one, I don't want you to fucking hurt the guy.
Yeah.
But I'm pregnant. I can't be banging you or with you.
Yeah.
And this, I'm going to try to work this out, make it work.
Yeah.
And Jake's biological dad, I'll still say it today. I've said it in court. I've said it everywhere with our whole bullshit. He is not a horrible person. He was never physically abusive. He was emotionally abusive, and he didn't know. He was such a selfish individual. Fun time. I mean, such a fun time.
Yeah.
Great family.
Yep.
Great brothers and sisters. I can't say enough about them. But he was just so wrapped up in him that if you weren't riding the wave with him, there couldn't be any disruptions in between. And Jacob was a disruption.
If it didn't benefit him, it didn't matter.
Right. So now, and alcohol was a problem for him. He always wanted to drink. He always had to drink. And I get it because he probably got it from his dad. Because his dad, sweetheart, I love that man. And God rest his soul. But when you'd show up to his house, he'd be like, here's a White Russian. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Here's this. Yes. I mean, but it was just old school Italian ways. That's how they were. Well-to-do family who always had the best of the best. That's how it was. So anyway, so we go forward and everything, and I find out I'm pregnant. I have Jake.
Yep.
While I was pregnant, I kind of knew that maybe it wasn't going to work out all that great, and he wasn't going to see the light. Because when you find out you're pregnant, you kind of think okay, all your bullshit stops.
Women change when you get pregnant. They say that women become a parent when they get pregnant. A father becomes a parent when the child is born.
Yes, 100%.
Not always the father becomes a parent, and not always the mother, but case in point.
I mean, the guys are on for the ride, but they really don't understand it until the child's born.
Yes.
And there's totally some truth to that. So now, I woke up one morning, and what made me think this isn't going to last was I woke up one night covered in throw up. And it wasn't my throw up.
No.
It was his throw up from drinking. He had drank so much that night. He just leaned over and threw up. Ugh. Not giving a shit that his pregnant girlfriend was there or whatever, or what I was going through. Now, at the time, we were living at my parents' house in one room. It was terrible. And
not a fun time.
No, it's not a fun time. You've been there, done that.
Douglas and I have done that. It's not a fun time.
So, my parents owned a duplex at the time and everything, and they were renovating one side for my brother and his kids because they also lived in the house with their 2 children. But at the time, my sister-in-law was she was pregnant. We were pregnant together at the same time, and she was 4.5 months further along than me. So now I'm like, wow, this is just not how it's going to happen. Now I've had Jake.
Yep.
Jacob is the best child a mama could ever ask for.
He really is.
I mean,
he's so great.
He is. When I grow up, I'm going to be just like him.
Yeah.
He is my superhero. He is just so passionate and so loving and so caring. And it breaks my heart because he's
such a good person.
He is. And he has every right in the book to be a dickhead. Because he was treated like shit, locked in a closet at his dad's house, told he couldn't eat dinner when his girlfriend was like, oh, that's not my cat. And I can't even imagine that because my husband and I have never, and you're kind of in the same situation, so you get it. We've never addressed Jake as his stepchild.
It's not his stepkid, that's his kid.
My daughter is not. She is my daughter. She is my husband's daughter, and she is my daughter.
Right, and
she's neither of our biological child. Right. But she is our child.
Correct. And people are like, well, it's not really your kid. What's not really your kid? That they would say that to him, and my husband would be like, "That's my son.
That makes me so mad.
That's mine." And before we even got married, and my husband was doing like his will and estate and all that, because you have to adult.
Yep.
Jake was in there.
Of course he was, because that's his son.
That's his kid. We had a plan in case we broke up, how he was still going to be able to see Jake.
That's fantastic.
And Jake and him are like,
yeah, it's great.
It's a little weird for me now because I've had to like separate as a mom and let him be a man and be with the dad. And but let me tell you, that man, he's a man now. Will still hug his mama. Still call his mama and say, "I love you."
He goes out of his way. We're at a family function. He goes out of his way to come say hi to me.
Yeah,
without a doubt. He comes and finds me and says hello every single time. Like he's a good boy. He was up at 9 a.m. trying to do internet for us.
He was.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, you know.
I love you. He's getting my throat right now. I love you, Jake. What do you need? Oh my God, it.
He's the best.
He's the best.
Such a good boy.
When he was, I was home now at this point. I'd come out of the hospital. I had him everything. Like his father and I were at this point. I'm like, oh my God, we have a baby. Like we sat in the hospital together. It was great. And I'm like, okay, we're turning around.
Yep, he's gonna figure this out. The baby's out.
Baby's out.
We're gonna get this.
Hit him. It's gonna have a moment. Like we're gonna have this. Well, I remember my mom was in the kitchen. And Jake just cried. He cried and cried and cried and cried. And I was so exhausted. And, you know, when you're home and you have, like, his dad was an electrician, a damn good electrician at that. And he was working and all that. So when your man is working and you're home with a baby, you let them sleep. You let them be. And you are the one who's exhausted. And you are the one that is whatever. And I was getting ready to go back to work, obviously, when I was done with maternity leave because I did work. But at that time, I wasn't. I was letting him do his thing. But he came to the house one day, came home, and Jake is just he's in the swing, and he's just screaming. I said, "Mom, I don't know what to do with him." And my dad said, "I'm gonna get him off breast milk." And I was like, "No, like, fuck." I have a right to breastfeed my child. Like, this is the best thing for them, and I'm gonna do it. And blah, 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 blah. You feel like you're a fucking cow, basically being milked 24/7.
Yeah, I just finished it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's so great for them.
It is.
But mine was not great for him. And here's like what happened. So he walked in the door, and this is what made me realize, like, I gotta get away from this. This has got to stop. Like, I can't. This is not good for my son. Because when you have a kid, as a mom, you literally just go into full boat protecto mode. I don't give a fuck if you've been with your husband since you were a kindergartner. You have a baby, he touches your kid, you're fucking dead. I will murder you where you stand. That's how it works. And they know. Like, my husband knows.
My oldest will go, okay, I gotta tell you something, but don't get mad right away. And like, she knows that.
Think about your reaction, Mom.
She knows that if it's something that somebody is mean to her, I'm calling them. I'm ready to.
Where you at? You want to go right now? Pick which car we're taking.
It's so funny because exactly.
You want to call your aunt?
I'm like, don't touch my kid, and she's like, wait, but I fixed it myself. But it's so funny. But she's like, don't react.
I do it with Jacob in college. He's like, Mom, they switch. I'm like, you email this one, you put this one in that, and you know, I'll do that. And he's like, whoa,
I got it.
Down, girl. Well, like, you know, over the summer when I was sitting there, the guy started yelling at Jacob. We were getting the boat off thing, whatever, and which was really funny because the only thing his friend who visited for the first time to Cape Cod, and he comes to my house, says the only thing I got out of that whole weekend was, "You have a tiny penis. You're compensating. You fucking dick." On the dock, it was quite bad. Because he started yelling at my kid. My kid's like, meanwhile, Jake's, "Yeah, if you want, I'll just move the trailer. It'll be real quick." And I'm like, "You want to fight? I'll throw down with you right now." Like, here's my inner ghetto coming out. My thug life. It's true.
Oh, it's so funny.
We get
you're in the kitchen. He comes home from work. Can we tell the whole story without interrupting ourselves?
Sorry, my bad. And he looks at Jacob like he is like just disgusted with him. And he walks by him and like stops for a second and is like, ugh, and just keeps walking. My mother goes, "Excuse me, your son is crying. You could pick him up. Maybe you could help Angie out."
Yeah.
I'm going snowboarding. I don't have time for this.
Unacceptable.
And I'm like, oh my God. And now, mind you, 5 minutes before that, I'm getting peed on because I'm so fucking tired. I don't even realize. My dad looks over at me and goes, hey, feel a little wet. What? You don't feel wet? I don't know. Fuck, Daddy won't stop crying. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a zombie right now. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm covered because I didn't cover it in time. So now, when it's time for me to move out and go into the duplex, you're moving to your mom's house, away, wherever, but you're not moving with me.
Yeah.
And that was my kind of worry. But before that, we ended up having to take Jacob to Children's Hospital because my dad said something's really wrong with him. Like, I mean, maybe he's colic, whatever. No. So we take him to Children's Hospital. Mm-hmm. We go up to the ER up there because listen to my dad first time mom. I don't know anything. Mm-hmm. He says they're not equipped here on the Cape to deal with that, which they really aren't. I mean, they're just in the past 5 or 6 years becoming equipped.
He needed the hospital. But before we continue the story, mind if we take a quick break?
Not at all.
All right, Angie, let's hear this story that I've already heard and really hate it because I was seething with anger yesterday.
I know, she was so mad.
And now I'm just gonna get mad again.
Yeah. So sorry for bringing your fury. So we go up to Children's Hospital with Jacob. That's where we're at, guys. Mm-hmm. And we get there. Mind you, I have one car seat, one stroll, like one of everything. I don't have multiples. I don't have money for multiples, none of that shit. So we get to Children's Hospital, we pull up, you loop up and around, and I get out, I go inside with Jacob and everything, and I said to him, oh, you're gonna go park the truck. Yeah. And by the way, he drove a Dodge Ram pickup truck, gray, if anybody cares. So we're in the couple half hour, 45 minutes.
You're already in. You've seen the doctor.
And I'm like, and they go, we're going to admit you because he's going to have to. We don't know what's going on. We're going to have to admit you. Just wait for a room. Blah blah blah. I call him. Mm-hmm. Hey, where are you? They're going to admit. I'm like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Where are you? Yeah. I'm on the Cape. I'm sorry. What? What the fuck are you doing on the Cape?
60 miles away.
An hour.
An hour drive, 60 miles.
So you had time to process.
There was plenty of time where he could have gone, maybe I should go back to my child and my child's mother.
Maybe.
What if you walked in the ER and they were like, nah, he's fine? What you gonna walk?
I would have been sleeping in the ER overnight.
Like, what the fuck did he think?
I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. And he still, later in life, when I brought that up to him, he still didn't think he did anything wrong.
Anger.
Like, no way.
No.
It's not okay. So.
Me to my Jake.
Yeah. So now I'm really thinking, fuck, I'm alone. Yeah. Like now it's hitting me. Yeah. But now it's hitting me and I'm processing, but I still have to be strong because I can't let my child know, even though, I mean, he's like 2 weeks old.
But they pick up on everything.
And you got to stay calm because as a mom, like once your kid knows you're neurotic, they're never going to calm down.
If you're panicking, your kid's going to panic.
Your kid's panicking. So, so now they admit Jacob. Mm-hmm. I ended up getting admitted into this room, which, by the way, I just got to paint the picture. It's Shawshank Redemption baby prison. Okay, the cribs that they're in at the time were aluminum wrought. Like you can't touch your baby. Oh. They're all hooked up. He had an IV in his head. Like it was just, for me, it was scary.
Yeah, and you're a baby yourself.
Right. I never dealt with this. No. Like the biggest problem I dealt with was losing a friend. Yeah. Not giving birth to this beautiful thing and bringing life into the world. And then the nurse came in and said he may not make it through the night. What's going on with him is his body is actually shutting it off because he's allergic. They found out basically he was allergic to my breast milk. Mm-hmm. So everything I was eating, he was reacting. Mm-hmm. So imagine for the first 2 weeks of his life, all he was doing was in a full-blown anaphylactic almost all the time.
It's crazy. It's amazing that he survived. It really is.
But what happened was his belly was so inflamed and enlarged because it was so, it had said no more, and it was trying to push up, which is why he was throwing up a lot, and he was this and he was that. It was, his body was just like, get it out. And he had a rash, but I was told it was baby acne. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You didn't have like Google like it is now.
I didn't have Google. I didn't have WebM fucking D. I didn't have any of that shit. I had AOL, bing bong, ding dong, dee. That's what you had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she looked at me. That nurse looked at me, and she said, "Give your son a kiss goodnight and enjoy your moments because he may not make it. He's bad.
Yeah.
Good thing you brought him in."
Yeah.
But then I looked over because at Children's Hospital you shared rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I look over and there's a woman there from somewhere in the Middle East. I think it was like India, somewhere over in that area, Middle East, whatever. Her child was there, she was born with 2 hearts and was getting ready to undergo surgery to remove one of the hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
your kid really may not make it. Like, I'm thinking about it and thinking, well, my life's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
My kid's not that bad off.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that out later because she didn't speak English or whatever, but I found that out later. That's what she was there for. But it was just nerve-wracking. So then I had to call my dad, who had to go buy me a car seat base to come in to bring him. He never fucking showed up.
How long were you guys there?
3 days.
And he never came back?
Never came back. He never called me. He never came back. Nothing. But this was the pattern that would happen Jake's whole life.
Yep. I've been around long enough. I've seen some of it. It's crazy. The in and out, the non-commitment, the not showing up when he's supposed to.
He's never been to a doctor's appointment for my son. Never. Ever.
Crazy. He
had been to one school thing, and that was in 1st grade. And that was because his girlfriend at the time forced him to go because she was a great girl. She was all about the kids. Like, you go kids. I was like, oh, this is great. He's supportive. But right then and there is when I realized, okay, I'm on my own.
You're on your own.
It's real. Shit's hitting me.
You're on.
You really got to be real. No more drugs, no more drinking, no more people, no more nothing. And I had to cut it loose. And then when I met my husband, when Jacob was 14 months old, and my husband is the one that really taught me how to love.
Yep.
And he did that and broke me free, actually. He is the one who rescued me.
Yeah.
My husband is my rescuer because he taught me stuff that I had never been taught my entire life. It's not okay to yell. My husband has never, ever called me a nasty name. He has never said, you're a fucking cunt. Never. And my husband will say, don't ever say anything that you're going to regret because you can't take it back. Once those words come out, I can't take it back. And you bitches will remember shit forever. You're like a sponge. And he's not wrong.
No.
When someone hurts you like that and they say stuff like that, these are imprints in your mind. You remember them. Yeah. You may bury them, but you remember them.
They're there. They have a profound effect on who you are as a person.
Correct. And that is why when I met William, like he said, and the biggest thing for him and what made me realize true love was when my dad was screaming and yelling at me when we were in the house before we had any of the other kids because dinner wasn't ready on time. And I remember I was like, oh my God, my husband walked in, calm, cool. By the way, my husband never yells.
It's calm, cool, collected.
Oh, one level. How he deals with me, I have no idea.
Men like that?
Yes.
Because we're fucking off the wall and they're just like even keel.
And they're like, okay, we're riding this wave today.
Yep. They may both be pissed, but you wouldn't know because they're just even keel.
And they both of them have this mean mug.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, are you mad? No.
No, I'm just sitting here.
I'm like, what? I'm just enjoying the show. I don't know what the fuck you're doing now.
Just watching what you're doing, bitch.
Yep.
Like, you're crazy ass and shit. Like,
right.
whatever.
So, to the house, came home from work, and he said, hey, no, we don't yell at her. This is her house, and this is her way. And we don't eat dinner until I get home. This is my house. I'm king of my castle. I pay the mortgage. If you can't respect that and you can't treat her respectfully, then please do not come over here. You will not disrespect her in this house.
Yeah.
And there's no yelling. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get so screwed. I'm never going to my parents' house again because he's gonna be so mad. Like, I'm afraid of him. He's gonna hit me. But it stopped.
Yep.
And that's when I realized, okay, all right. And I think having Jake and having him, they're my ground.
Yep.
they're my foundation, and you got to have a strong foundation, which you have. So we're going to bring it over to Candace, because Candace has a wild ride as well. And her wild ride started a little bit later in life, but she still has a wild ride that we want to pull out of her.
Oh, God.
And we have very similar backgrounds,
yes.
but different similar backgrounds.
Exactly. So,
like I said earlier, you know, Catholic school all my life, later altar server too. Until I met my lovely husband at 16. We worked a Stop Shop together, as you know, our family tradition. Everybody works at Stop Shop.
Yep.
Just
Jake worked there too.
My eldest currently works. Like, it's just the way
it's
it
the drop zone.
Exactly. So we met and whatever, and then he broke my heart.
Yeah.
By breaking up with me, and that sent me into a literal downward spiral. I like.
He said he's the reason.
He's the reason. He's absolutely the reason.
Dark.
Yeah.
Well, not dark like all the black. She just loves to black.
Yeah. No, it sent me into this dark hole of depression. Like, you know, in my mind, I gave him my virginity, and like, then we should still be together, and like, it just didn't. So I have this pain and this hurt that I filled with drugs and more sex, which is not the answer.
They don't really go well.
Anything. So, you know, I was living this crazy life. Let's try crack, because that would be real fun. Did that for way too long.
By the way, I don't even know how people snort coke. Like, I was part of dealing the drugs. Like, I brought the drugs to people. Mm-hmm. But the whole fucking, I can't. I'm too fucking prissy bitch to do that. I can't. I don't.
Yeah, the high's worth it.
Right. All right.
No, but it's true. I, for years, even, like, I have been clean for almost 6 years, and I still, every time I blew my nose, like, blood would come out. Like, I fucked up my nose. But I smoked more crack than I snorted, so, like, that was probably a good thing. I probably would have broken my septum.
My husband was a cokehead for a long time, and he had his aha moment at one point when he almost was going to jail.
Yeah, exactly. So coke is a fucking hell of a drug, man. Like, it really is. But so, you know, I did all that.
We're not saying go and do coke.
No,
anybody.
Please don't.
We are not encouraging drug use. Coke. We're sharing how we are now retired reform.
Retired, yeah. I use the term retired because I'm not recovered. It's something I deal with literally every day. I'm not in recovery because I don't like AA. If AA works for you, great. NA, whatever, more power to you. I just don't want to listen to other people bitch. I got my own bitching to do. Right. So, you know, I am a retired drug addict is the way I quantify myself, and I'm never doing drugs again. I went down this horrible path, and then my parents at one point, they go, okay, look, you need to go to rehab.
By the way, Candace's parents are fucking amazing humans.
My parents, did they have this shitbag of a daughter that they had for a while? It's amazing. My parents are both.
They have so much love to give. They're so awesome.
They don't treat me the way that I deserve to be treated after the shit I put them through. They treat me like I am still like a good kid. Like I am now, but like they never gave me a hard time about it. Yeah, they were pissed at the time, but now they're like, they don't even talk about it.
You know what, though? That though, because people that are going through what you went through, and when you have addiction, you have to bear through it. Yeah. Like in 2020, my family bared through it. Yeah. Which again we're gonna talk about, but it's hard. Yeah. Like the pain that people feel, and I don't know if I'm allowed to mention his name or not, and I'm sorry if I'm not, but Jelly Roll actually sings a lot about that. Yeah. And I love that man, I'm sorry. But he sings a lot of it in that one.
Bottle and Mary Jane is literally my favorite song. I connect so deeply with that song.
Everybody does, because it's real.
It's real.
As the other family.
It's like I'm a man of conviction, but damn these addictions. Right. It's so true.
The heartache and pain. And the thing is, though, is that people don't know when you have an addiction, no matter what it is, whether it's sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling, it's a struggle.
It's a struggle. It's literally every day. It's like, no, we're not doing drugs today. And it still is every day. I'm like, not today, bitch. Like, no, we got kids.
Like, my kids, like, when they get up, my kids dealt with my pain. And I wasn't addicted to drugs or anything, but I had a bunch of sexual trauma that happened to me, and it really came out in 2020 when a bunch of shit happened, and I had to process it, and my kids had to deal with that. Yeah. And the pain that I caused them unknowingly. And you don't know it. Like, so when you're you don't know, but for your parents to still love you, and I know, like, when I tell you these parents love this woman, they're the best parents. Woman.
I couldn't be luckier.
Right.
I really couldn't be.
And being an outsider, like when I met them and everything, and gone to their house and went to parties and everything, and being an outsider and going and meeting them and how much love they have, it's not fake love. You can see fake bullshit parent love. No. This was real oh, she's fucking loud, but fuck, that's my Candace. I just love her.
Yep.
You know, and
yeah.
But it's hard. So you gotta give them credit.
Oh, I give them so much credit. I tell them all the time. I'm like, why do you treat me so good? Like I don't deserve
because
it.
they love you.
Exactly. That's what it is. Well, and I'm their only one, and so like I gave them 3 grandkids. So like you know I'm doing pretty good on that one. God, something. So you know,
how did it get there though? Like, how did it happen?
So basically, it was. So
damn dog.
They gave, and what's funny, so like a week before they gave me the ultimatum of we're done with you or go to rehab, Douglas had came and visited me and spent the night with me. Like we had
talk about fucking head fucking twist. Like
yeah. He texted me and he was like, "Hey, I'm coming to the Cape," and I was like, "Come over, bitch, let's go." Like
kryptonite.
Yeah, he was my man. Like, you know, I was so happy that he was around. And then I told him, you know, my parents said, "Hey, you got to go to rehab, or you know, we're done." And I was going to rehab. He goes, "Well, talk to me when you're done." And he was mad. He was like, he didn't realize that I was using. Like, I was very good at hiding it. A lot of people didn't know.
Most drug addicts are.
I know. You wouldn't have known if you looked at me. I didn't look like
my radio guy said to me that he's been clean now for 2 years. I said, "You what?"
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm like, "What?"
Like, what do you mean?
He goes, "Yeah, I'm not. Who I am now is not who I was then, and it's amazing.
It's crazy."
He goes, "But I grew up with this great family and this great this," and I'm like,
I feel like it's the ones of us who have that something we want to rebel against it, and sometimes we forget that like you don't need to rebel against it.
You don't.
Like, go get a tattoo.
Go get a fucking tattoo.
Like literally, if you want
your fucking belly button pierced or a nipple done, okay?
Your face, right? Or like you know, don't tattoo your face.
No, you will regret that later in life, maybe.
You know, get a tattoo. Do something else crazy, like skydive. Don't go freaking shoot up coke. Like, please don't do that. I beg of you.
Don't do it.
So they gave me this ultimatum, and I was like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll go to rehab. Fine. So I went to rehab, and then when I was in rehab, I was only there for 7 days, but it was a good 7 days. I was like, I'm out of here. You won't let me smoke whenever I want cigarettes because I was a big cigarette smoker. No, goodbye. So one of my friends came and got me. Whatever. And so, but I had already.
Do you remember what kind of car they were driving?
Yes, he had a Civic Si.
Oh.
Yes, which was very uncomfortable to have sex in, and we did it for a couple of times, and it was
very. I talked about
too tight. It's too tight in there.
Yeah,
but no, too tight. But it's fun to drive. I did like driving that, and then he rolled it over because he drove too fast down the road, and he flipped it. He survived, and he's fine. He's actually thriving in life now, so he's great. He's great. So he came and got me. He was mad at me too for leaving rehab, but whatever. So but I'd already made up this plan that I was going to move to Louisiana because I had this guy that I knew that was from here that was in the Army and was stationed in Louisiana. He was like, "Fuck it, you need to get out of the Cape. I'm bored and lonely down here. Let's get married." And I was like, "This sounds like a great time to get married."
How long were you guys together before you got married?
I think we knew each other for 2 months.
And that girl, it took me 10 years.
And that
was 2 kids later.
That wasn't even. We weren't even dating for those 2 months. Like, and we just happened to know each other for those 2 months. Oh yeah,
that was great.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Got on a plane, packed up all of my shit.
How's that Catholic school?
For you. Oh my god, my friend, he picked me up. He bought me a big giant luggage, packed that shit. I'm in the airport. They're like, "Your bag's overweight." I have no money to pay for the extra weight. They're like, "You have to get another bag. You can't." So I'm like shoving shit in my carry. Oh my god, it was such. I'm like this 18-year-old girl in the middle of an airport. Like, I don't know what to do. It was so bad. I was 20. I was 20 at the time. I was like,
I can't throw this stuff out.
I'm like, this is. I was like, I am moving. This is everything I own. They're like, I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out. And I'm like, I'm crying.
Still, I don't understand why your fucking carry-on can weigh 5,000 pounds, but that
goddamn
check bag
can't. Only gonna be 50.
Why is it a thing?
I don't get it. But whatever. So I got on the plane. We got married. He was doing great. He was in the Army. The option came for him to.
Did you elope or did you have like a wedding?
We didn't have a wedding. We got married in a courthouse in Texas. I couldn't understand half of what the man who was marrying us said because his accent was so thick, and I had only been in the South for like 2 days, and we got married.
Oh,
yeah, Texas is fun. I would move back to Louisiana, heartbeat. I love Louisiana. It is gorgeous. It's weird. People are friendly. Like it's great.
People are friendly when you get out of New England. Oh, New England is like the fuck you of the world. Yeah, if you can survive, New England,
you can survive.
You can survive fucking anywhere.
Literally.
Anywhere. You can survive.
Yeah, so it was great. It was great down there. We had a great time. You know, it was fine. So the time came. You know, are you?
Did your parents know you were getting married?
Yep. They did not like it. They thought I was being an idiot. But I was like, look, I can't come back to the Cape. If I come back to the Cape, I'm gonna start using again. I knew I wasn't gonna not go back to all of my bullshit. So we came back from Louisiana because he didn't want to stay in the army anymore, which is fine. You know, I wish he did because I think life would have gone very differently, but I'm happy that my life went the way that it did. So like it works out.
Yeah.
But we got back, within 3 weeks I was pregnant, unintentionally. Although he did say to me, I'm going to get you pregnant so you can never leave me, because he knew I was kind of already had one foot out the door. And I'm pretty sure that night is the night I got pregnant, which would make sense, right?
So, but your kid's pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's my other little.
He's your other son.
Yeah, he's my other son.
He's so great. He when I walk into your house this morning, he's sound asleep on your couch, like
dogs on top of him.
Dogs on top of him, like passed out. Oh yeah,
face down to the marshmallow.
Oh yeah, he's not comfortable here or anything. No. So I get pregnant with him. I come home one day and I'm like 3 weeks pregnant at the time. He's sitting in my parents' basement. We lived with my parents at the time, smoking crack, and I'm like, what are you doing?
And he knew you were pregnant.
Knew I was pregnant. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. And he was like, do you want some?
But didn't he already have a child at this time?
He already had my eldest child at this time. She was living with his parents because her mother wasn't taking care of her and he wasn't taking care of her. So she was with his parents. Yep. So he already had one kid, and yet he went to the army to better himself and then came home and smoked crack. Whatever. So I was like, no, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, this isn't working. You gotta go. So I dropped him off at his parents' house. He was pissed, and I was like, get the fuck out of my car. We're done. Which I was smart enough to put the car in my name. The car was all in my name. Yeah. Exactly. So I left him there, and I went, and I had my pregnancy. I told him when...
Was he involved during your pregnancy?
He was not involved. I don't think I saw him at all while I was pregnant.
You really did it. You were like really ready to die by yourself.
I was out. I was like...
I had your mom and dad.
I had my parents, but I got my CNA license, and I was working full-time. I was working like 14-hour shifts every day to build up money for maternity leave because I knew I was going to be on my own, and that was fine.
It's awesome.
It worked. So
you have a CNA degree?
Yeah.
I knew it. Okay. All right.
That's why I take care of old people, man. The one thing that I do that is easy for me is take care of old people.
You went to college, though, for...
Yeah, I'm like 10 credits away from getting my bachelor's, and I just... Maybe one day I'll finish it, you know.
You're just bad.
Just try.
I thought about going back to college, and I was like...
No, we're going to be successful podcasters. We don't need to go back to college.
I can't domesticate right now.
No.
Putting this in a corporate world is... I'm going to jail.
No.
I'm going to tell one fucking judge if I became a lawyer, dude, you're a jackass. I do not agree with what you say.
Oh, that's exactly what you would do.
I would. And they'd be like,
you would be locked up. Yep.
Sorry, I misread the room.
Yeah, you would be in contempt every single time you went out. You would be every day. So
So I'm raising Jace on my own. I'm doing this single mother thing, and it's great and it's hard, but I'm so glad that I kicked him out in that moment, because that was my moment of like, no, it's either Jace and me, we have a happy, healthy life, or we continue down this bad road. And like, I'm not trying to have this kid in jail. Like, nope. I'm not trying to have a kid born addicted to crack. I'm not getting my kid taken from me. Right. It flipped the switch. And my mother said to me when I was pregnant, I knew I was pregnant. She didn't know I was pregnant. I said to her, I'm going to stay clean. You don't have to worry. I'm going to stay clean. She goes, how are you going to stay clean? I'm like, oh, well, she goes, you're pregnant. And I was like, bitch. How do you know I was pregnant?
Because she loves you so much and knows.
I saw you in a bikini. And I was like, bitch.
Call me fat, mother.
But she knew. And my mother, I call her my original mother-in-law because she's not my ex-mother. I didn't divorce her. I divorced her son. Right. My original mother-in-law, she said the same thing. She's like, oh, yeah, you're pregnant. I saw you in a bikini. And I'm like, thanks, assholes. So we, so Jason and I are rocking that single parent thing, blah, blah, blah. We're going along. And then we go apple picking with my mother, my original mother-in-law, and my now daughter, Jason's half sister, who my husband and I have since adopted together, which is just the best thing we ever did. And she's the best kid. And so the five of us were apple picking, and I saw your truck drive by me. and it had your company's logo on it, and I was
by the way, that rim right there is actually off of that truck.
Are you kidding me?
That
That's
rim's from
so
that truck.
funny.
And
so this one is the right one.
It was pink and it had big pink stripes on it.
That's
yeah,
so funny. So that is appropriately placed behind me. Then.
Yep.
So I see them drive by, and I was like, I wonder if Douglas's family is here. That's cool. And then I go about apple picking with my children, and Douglas saw me from afar in the field at the apple picking place. And 2 days later, a dozen roses show up on my parents' front porch with a note that says, you should give me a call, Doug, and his number. And I was like, oh, Doug, oh my God. Like, it had been like
Meanwhile, your mom and dad are like, fuck, Doug.
Oh, that virginity
fucking dog is back.
Yup. Oh, yeah. So I called him, and we've been together for 10 years now. So it all worked out. Awesome. The best part is, when the first time he came over, my father goes, hey, there's no sneaking in my house this time, because I had admitted to it.
Yeah.
I decided that I was no longer lying, and I told my parents all my bullshit of sneaking. I was like, there's no sneaking in my house. He goes, we're adults. I'm not sneaking. I'll walk through the front door. My father goes, fine. That sounds good. He's like, I don't care. You can come over whenever you want, but don't sneak into my house.
Which is so crazy to me, because you and I's life is so almost identical. Like, we've kind of ridden the same wave.
Yep.
So I'm 38.
Yep.
And you're younger
34.
Than me. So you're 4 years younger than me. Almost 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
But we rode the same wave.
I was just 5 years behind. Like, it was like, if we were the same age, we would have been running in the same circles.
Running in the
crazy.
Same circles,
we would have been exactly in the same circles.
And then it makes me think, like, how many times did we pass each other?
We probably did. I mean, like, in reality, we probably had the same drug dealers. Like,
probably.
which is
crazy. My drug dealers probably were your drug dealers.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably the same. And then it's wild to me, because, like, my husband is her husband's uncle. So
baby dad.
Maybe baby daddy. It's kind of funny, actually. If you see them, you'll see them in some of the stuff.
People will get us confused, but they're the ones who are, like, identical.
It's really
so
identical. It's crazy. But so I met him. I remember crying to my mom, like, that's it. I'm just doing it with him, blah blah blah, and that's it. And then I met William, who, by the way, chased me for like 3 years, and then I hooked up with him on a bet. But we'll get to that.
We'll tell that story later.
And long story short, it's crazy because he's been with Jake since Jake was 14 months old. Jake was now 19.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Douglas has been with Jake since he was 13 months old.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. And he's 10. Like,
he's 10. And so and little William. So at the time, little William was 2. Because he's, probably almost 3, because he's 12.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And those two,
oh my God,
they're in love.
They're absolutely in love with each other.
In love with each other. We were on vacation for a week, and William thought, like, the world was ending.
Jace every day was like, I'm too far from William. I'm too far.
Right.
And I was like, but just FaceTime him. It's not the same.
It's not the same. And then William was like,
they wouldn't talk to each other at one point.
Doug is so mean. He took my man. And I'm like, what? How was he mean? He took him on a vacation. Yeah. Sorry, he took him on a vacation. We went on Disney.
The best family vacation we will ever go on. So sorry.
So it's so crazy, but it's actually more crazy, like, how the world works. We just all
Well, you guys were apple picking, and I was apple picking at the same time. Like, that's why whenever we apple pick, I always make sure we take a picture, because literally my family wouldn't exist if we had not gone apple picking.
We have photos that start with apple picking with Jake, apple picking with Ella, apple picking with Small Gay. William becomes Small Gay. And it just, as they're growing and progressing.
I love it.
And it's great, but it's so crazy that you two would meet up at the same place at the same time. It's like the universe, you need to be together.
I told that motherfucker, we are supposed to be together for the rest of our lives. And guess who was right? This guy. Yeah. This guy was right.
You should just accept the fact, because so Doug and I work together at the shop, and what you don't understand is he came in one day and he made a decision, and I said, well, aren't you not allowed to make decisions anymore? And he's like, I'm not after this one. I did a big oopsie. And I went, oh, okay. And He's like, yeah, my wife was right. I'm like, have you not learned anything?
Yeah.
Have you not learned anything?
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why we say what we say, even though we're crazy as shit.
We might be out of our goddamn minds, but there is a piece in there that is what you should listen to.
Right.
And, you know, but they're very good at, you know, moving. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what she said.
Yeah, they have to weed through all of our other multiple personalities and what they were saying. And then sometimes, like, I'm having a conversation and I'm like, yeah, bro. Like,
the best is when we think we've told our husband something, but we've only told each other.
God.
And then they get
so
mad.
much trouble.
They get mad at us because we didn't tell them the thing. Oh, it's so funny.
Except for when it's on recording and you have a photographic memory and you remember the exact.
Oh, I love it. I can go back to a text and be like, I told you right there.
Yeah, like recently, last night, when I was like, I did tell you about that radio ad that I did. Mm-hmm. I do all the radio ads for our company. And he's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Well, I heard it and it's great. But no, you did not tell me. I would have liked to have known. It is my company. And I'm like, you knew. We sat there and listened to it. No, you did. I'm right. You're wrong. Just accept it.
Just accept it. We're always going to be right.
Always right. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right about being wrong.
There you go, girl. Oh, I'm using that. Next time that was going to be a hard time.
I've said that for years to my husband, and he just looks at me and goes, that's how you're fucking spinning it? Yeah, yes. Goddamn right.
Exactly.
I'm right when I'm wrong. Exactly. I'm wrong about being right.
I love it. Well, with that, I think we should wrap up episode 2, take 2.
Yeah. So we would love to hear your feedback, what you guys think, how you like it. What do you want us to talk about? Do you have some things? Guys, send us some shit, man. You have a badass car you want us to feature or whatever, send it to us. I love hearing all the stories.
What's your breakthrough moment?
Yeah.
I'd love to share some stories in an upcoming episode. I think that would be really fun.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. So you can find us on every social media at Hot Rod Mess. If you'd like to send us an email, it's hotrodmess@gmail.com. So we'll see you next episode.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks guys.